The job market can be ruthless, and for me it was. Despite 2 decades of proven success in technology, designing systems, leading teams, innovating solutions, none of it seemed to matter anymore. Each application was a shot into the void. Each interview felt like a performance with no encore. Every unanswered call, every form letter rejection, it all slowly chipped away at me. I began to wonder, was it my age? My race? Was I too experienced? Not charismatic enough? Or had the industry simply moved on, discarding loyalty and deep expertise for fast, flashy, and cheap? The silence was the loudest part, but beneath the disappointment, a flicker remained. I still believed I had something to offer. Something real, something new. So I turned inward, toward the one thing no employer could take away, my vision. I reimagined the future from my own living room, transforming frustration into fuel. I resurrected an idea I'd toyed with for years, a smart home platform called Treehouse, my answer to disconnected devices and disjointed systems. It wasn't just code anymore, it was purpose. While others scrolled social media, I pored over white papers. While jobs disappeared, I built. I earned my AWS Solutions Architect certification and IBM's IoT certification. I pushed Treehouse through Apple's rigorous App Store approval. I taught myself more in 1 year than I had in 5. But even then, no job, no offers. 2 years passed. 2 years without a paycheck. 2 years since I left my 6-figure role at the Home Depot. Some days, it felt like I had made the biggest mistake of my life. But deep down I knew I wasn't finished yet. This wasn't the end of the story. It was just the first chapter. After countless setbacks, a former colleague from the Home Depot encouraged me to apply for a role with the state of Georgia. I landed a position as a UAT manager with the Department of Childcare and Learning, although the salary was nearly 3 times lower than my previous role. The financial strain was daunting, but it also served as motivation to excel in my new position, with hopes of a quick promotion and a better financial standing. In those constraints, I found drive. I worked harder and smarter, not just to keep the job, but to redefine it, not just to perform, but to transform. And that's exactly what I did. Soon I was no longer just a manager. I became a business solutions architect, a senior manager of technical solutions, a position inspired by me and created for me. But the pay barely moved. Each milestone, each achievement, it all felt like motion without momentum. I had reached stability but not success, yet I pressed on. Then the world stopped.
But the small drop in yields made only minor dents in the huge spike seen over the past week and a half.
While the world reeled from the shift to remote work, I felt something different: freedom. Working from home wasn't a disruption for an extreme introvert, it was a gift. With fewer distractions, I worked deeper. With fewer limitations, I thought bigger. Some days I balanced multiple projects at once, leveraging my solitude to build something greater. And for the first time in years, I felt capable again. But even in moments of personal growth, life has a way of testing resolve. During the pandemic, our family suffered a devastating loss. My step-granddaughter's grandfather passed away. His absence left a void, one that I had to help fill. Balancing professional ambition with personal grief wasn't easy. But through it all, I learned that real success isn't just about career progression. It's about resilience. It's about adaptation. It's about knowing what truly matters. The pandemic had reshaped the world, and it had reshaped me. What came next would change everything. As my time at DECAL reached its peak, the praise was there. The appreciation was real, but so was the ceiling. They didn't want me to leave, just like ADT years ago when my departure had sparked resistance. Still, loyalty couldn't fix what the paycheck didn't. I needed to grow, to stretch, to take a calculated leap of faith. So I made one of the hardest decisions of my life. I sold my home, I sold my car, and I bet on myself. Not recklessly, but strategically. I wasn't running away from something. I was stepping into something bigger. The opportunity at the VA was monumental, exactly the kind of challenge I had been preparing for in silence. As a principal consultant, I would help modernize one of the largest government agencies in the country. My mission? Lead the migration of a mission-critical VA application to the AWS cloud, an initiative that would eventually serve over 16 million veterans. I walked into that role with conviction. It wasn't easy. Federal compliance was a labyrinth. Stakeholders came with different agendas, and the stakes immense. But I was ready, and even after I left DECAL, they weren't ready to let go. They kept me on as a consultant for 9 more months. So by day, I was modernizing federal infrastructure, and by night, I was still solving strategic problems for Georgia's youngest citizens, all from the comfort of home, thanks to the pandemic. It wasn't just about doing the work. It was about delivering impact wherever I was needed. Looking back, this was the chapter where I stopped surviving and started leading. Where I realized I could create impact in any room, whether public or private. The titles changed, the clients changed, but the constant? Me, my integrity, my expertise. This was no longer just about career progression. This was a calling, and I was just getting started. With a solid foundation forged at DECAL and the VA, I was ready for the next leap, a role that would stretch my leadership to its full potential. Material LLC was that opportunity, a senior director role in technical architecture, a seat at the table where transformation happened. It was the kind of role I had dreamed about during those long nights of rejection years earlier. But just as I was preparing to step forward, everything came to a halt. I failed the background check. Identity theft. Convicted. But there was just one problem. I hadn't done it. I sat in stunned silence. Had I been hacked? Was this some cruel error? Then I saw it. Same name, same county, same birthday, just a different year. There was another man out there who shared my name, my birthplace, and my birthday. But he had committed the crime, and I was paying the price. I became my own investigator. Piece by piece, I uncovered the truth, and I didn't stop there. I coordinated directly with the background check agency. I provided documentation. I made calls, wrote letters, chased down clerical errors until I proved beyond a doubt. They had the wrong man, and I got the job. Just like DECAL didn't want to see me go, the VA offered me a part-time consulting extension too. So I did what few could imagine. I served 2 worlds at once. Full-time leadership at Material, part-time guidance at the VA, and all heart, all in for both. At Material, I stepped into the highest profile role of my career. Senior Director of Technical Architecture. My clients? Keurig, Chuck E. Cheese, Beyonce. Yes, that Beyonce. These weren't just tech projects. They were brand-defining digital transformations. I architected the cloud strategies that powered household names. I modernized legacy systems, optimized global infrastructure, and led DevOps teams through high-stakes delivery. Each day was fast-paced, each meeting high-stakes, each decision impactful. But I thrived. I wasn't just building platforms. I was shaping experiences, moving millions through invisible threads of code and cloud.
U.S. Treasuries ticked higher as equity investors scurried for the sidelines after several tech companies slashed their outlooks and revived worries about a stalled economy at close of business yesterday.
After 16 months, it all unraveled. Material underwent a massive layoff. My entire division gone. I knew it was coming, but that didn't make it easier. Still, there was light in the moment. I had just obtained Microsoft's highest equivalent to the AWS Solutions Architect certification, the Azure Solutions Architect Expert, and I had been accepted into the Cambridge Judge Business School CTO Executive Education Program. Materials CTO didn't offer platitudes. He offered perspective. You've got the skill, the presence. Don't rule out becoming a CTO yourself, he said. That wasn't coincidence. That was alignment. And through it all, I never let go of my roots. I remained employed with Paladin and Archer, continuing my assignment at the VA. I didn't just attend Cambridge. I endured it. I earned it. Long nights, longer days, but the transformation was real. And when I finally stepped foot on that storied campus, when I walked those stone pathways and held that certificate in my hand, it wasn't just a milestone. It was a moment of arrival, not just for who I was, but for who I had become. I've worked in the public sector. I've led in the private sector. I've been rejected. I've been celebrated. I've built systems that move millions of transactions a day. And now I've built one that moves millions of emotions. Vibe Village is not just a career move. It is my declaration. That technology can be human. That innovation can be intimate. That legacy is not built in titles, but in the lives we touch. And none of this would have been possible without one critical decision. The decision to invest in myself, from certifications in cloud architecture to long nights preparing papers. From the moment I stepped into Cambridge, virtually and in person, I chose to believe that I was worth the investment. And I still do. Because when you invest in yourself, you're not just learning new skills. You're preparing for the day when opportunity meets purpose.